Did you know that the biggest obstacle between you and your dreams is something that lives inside you? Fear. It stops you from taking action, from believing, and often makes you give up before you even try. But what if I told you that you have the power to transform this fear into fuel to achieve everything you've ever wanted? Imagine for a second, what if that fear that paralyzes you is the door to the biggest change in your life? If you stop avoiding what scares you and start taking action, could your dreams become reality? Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm going to share can show you exactly how to overcome this fear and take the first step towards achieving the impossible. Are you ready to discover how faith, courage, and action can change your story? The fear that paralyzes and steals opportunities. Fear is sneaky. It arrives uninvited, disguises itself as prudence, and whispers in your ear, "Better not take the risk." How many times has someone had a brilliant idea, a strong desire to change their life, but stopped halfway because insecurity spoke louder? God has given us a spirit of courage, yet discouragement insists on making us forget that. And the worst part? While one person hesitates, another, with less preparation but more boldness, steps forward and seizes what could have been theirs. Imagine a slightly open door, an opportunity waiting to be taken. But out of fear of what might be on the other side, the person steps back. What if it goes wrong? What if I'm not capable? These questions eat away at dreams before they even have a chance to become reality. But the real question should be, what if it goes right? What if that step of faith opens doors that once seemed impossible? Fear is a thief of promises, but courage is the key that unlocks new possibilities. Look at the great stories of resilience. Those who succeeded weren't the ones who never felt fear, but the ones who chose to move forward despite it. Faith doesn't eliminate challenges, but it gives the strength to face them. How many times has God already shown you that it's possible, yet your heart still wavers? The truth is, hope only strengthens through action, and that's where transformation begins. Fear has always been the greatest thief of dreams. How many times has someone given up before even trying, just because the voice of discouragement sounded louder than the voice of faith? Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. What if life itself were a test? A challenge to see who has enough hope to continue when everything seems to be falling apart? God never promised an easy journey, but He assured us that He would never leave us alone. The difference between those who win and those who give up is in one detail: action. Fear paralyzes, but faith moves. It is like a warrior who faces battle knowing that he may lose, but fights anyway, who is willing to act, even with a racing heart and shaking hands. Small steps change destinies. A yes can transform everything. A courageous decision today can be the key to a completely different future tomorrow. And then a question arises. Is the fear we feel real, or is it just an illusion created by our minds? Many people stop living because they have become prisoners of their own insecurities. But have you ever stopped to think that the worst-case scenario that scares us so much may not even happen? What if, instead of failure, courage brings a completely new life? Something to think about, isn't it? Because in the end, it's not fear that defines what happens, but what we do with it. Have you ever noticed how our mind can be both our greatest ally and our worst enemy? Discouragement doesn't come out of nowhere. It's built day after day, fed by negative thoughts and a lack of hope. But what if it were possible to reprogram this? What if, instead of listening to fear, we chose to strengthen our faith? Courage doesn't come out of nowhere, it's cultivated. And those who plant faith reap strength. The truth is that many people wait to feel courage before acting, but it's exactly the opposite. First we act, then courage appears. Think of someone you admire, someone who has achieved great things. This person probably felt fear, had doubts, thought about giving up, but instead of giving up, they chose to continue. Because in the end, it's not about not feeling fear, but about deciding that it won't dictate our choices. Now, imagine what your life would be like if you stopped listening to the voice of insecurity and started listening to the voice of faith. What doors could open? What opportunities could arise? Because deep down, it is not the lack of ability that prevents people from succeeding, but rather the lack of courage to take the first step. And the big question is, will you let fear win once again? Or will you give hope a chance? What separates those who win from those who give up is not talent, luck, or favorable circumstances. It is the decision to continue, even when everything seems impossible. And perhaps this is your greatest challenge right now. Taking a step forward, even without guarantees, even without certainties. But think about it. What if it is exactly this step that will change everything? What if what you have been waiting for is already within your reach? But it can only be yours if you dare to move forward. How many opportunities have slipped away due to a lack of courage? How many dreams have been left behind because fear spoke louder? Faith is not about seeing to believe. It is about believing to see. And that changes everything. When hope becomes stronger than discouragement, when God becomes your source of strength, you discover that you are capable of much more than you imagined. Because the truth is that you have never been alone. Now, stop and think. If you knew that your victory was just ahead, would you give up? Or would you continue with even more determination? The answer lies within you. The only thing left to know is whether you will choose to listen to it or ignore it once again. How many times have you looked back and realized that you missed moments that could have changed everything? Time doesn't come back. Opportunities don't wait. And life, well, it's relentless with those who stand still. But here's the secret. The decision is still in your hands. You can choose to continue living in fear, or you can choose to take a step forward with faith, hope, and courage. And now I ask you, how much longer are you going to wait to do something for yourself? To change your story? To face what paralyzes you? Because the truth is that life gives no guarantees. But if there's one thing you can be sure of, it's that nothing changes if you don't change. So, what will it be? Will you keep waiting for the perfect moment, or will you decide that that moment is now? If this video made sense to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Write in the comments, I choose courage, to make this commitment to yourself. And of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue learning and growing every day. Your change starts now. Are you ready?